For the next chapter, I wanted to go over a little bit about the altar and how to create an ancestral altar, or what it means and what some of the symbols and characteristics of the altar that you'll find in Afro Caribbean cultures of Latin America and Spain. And it's kind of a mixture of different ideas. So you have an influence from Spain, you have La Roma, which is the division which I fall under. I'm part Roma Gypsy of Madrid, La Madrid, La España, La Magia Blanca, the white magic, the white rose, the La Mesa Blanca, the white table, the seance, the tarot, the consultation, offerings, spells, rituals. All these types of different categories fall under kind of what we call like a Spanish style. And then you also have the influence from other areas, like from the Afro Caribbean, the Yoruba, the the aspects of the seven African potencias, the seven African gods. So this is something you see in the Caribbean. It's called syncretism. It's a Catholic, a, ca- sometimes influenced by Catholic elements mixed with African elements and European elements, even elements from Asia. So some of the things I want to go over. The main feature in the middle, we have Obatala. Obatala is the first and most important divine Orisha in the pantheon. What is Obatala? Obatala is both male and female. Typically, Obatala is represented as male. He is the governor of the world. He's the creator. He's the archetype of God. He also represents our Ori, our head, our mind, our psyche, our everything that pertains to the upper chakra of the mind and the crown of our upper intellect. So in this case, I have a little bit of a different uh, take on Obatala, because in this case, my Obatala is feminine. At least that is what the reading came for me this year. I wanted to kind of attribute Obatala, but also mix in the feminine attributes that I learned as a kid, because my path in Yoruba religion was more feminine than male. Okay, and that's something is personal. Each person has a different characteristics, but I was more inclined to learn from the woman and the elders and the things that the older ladies taught me. One of the things that she taught me, La Carmen was a very dear friend of mine. She was my madrina. One of the things that was the most important thing in the practice is that you have divination. And divination is when you use cards to divine, to understand things. And then we also have a boveda, have a spiritual boveda, have representation of Jesus and those types of things. These are different characteristics we have in the Roma tradition. It's a mixture of all the different symbolisms. My ancestors used to like to gamble. The men used to play dominoes. They used to play cards. They used to always play games. So historically, my family was always into card games. And so one way that we do tarot is we use cards. And this year, I got a very strong sign and symbol because of the type of enlightenment that's happening across the world. A lot of people understand now where we can kind of come back to tradition in this year called a yogbe, when two sides come together. When you go back to your traditions, so that we can protect our lives, protect our families, to have good health, to have prosperity, to have all the things that we deserve in this life, to rid ourselves from the evil eye, to remove hex, to remove curses. All these things we're very, very much aware, alert, and very cautious about, very superstitious about. And we're very much aware and understanding what is going on in the spiritual world as well in the physical plane. This year, I determined in my reading, according to everything that was determined by the elders of this year in the Yoruba tradition, that Obatala, white, was going to be the symbol of our year. 2022 for us is the end of the pandemic. Doesn't mean that things are going to stop and change, but we're trying to really bring it back to enlightenment. How do we come to purity? How do we come to the self? How do we grow? How do we develop? How do we bring life into everything that we create? How are we being creative? And so, one of the things that came a very strong card was the queen. That there is a very strong queen in the world who is governing everything. She's in charge. She oversees the men. She's a queen of spades. So this is a type of solid queen that is not gonna move anywhere. She's definitely here to stay. And I think that the queen is good because she brings back order. And you have to understand that mythologically all of this relates to the kingdom, the royal court, the spirits. We exist in a kingdom, in a sense, in a spiritual kingdom. And so this queen card is a very uh good card for the year, that it brings structure, it brings order, and it also requires us to kind of follow tradition, follow your rules that work for your life, have more structure, organization. Um, the other card that came to me is the Joker. The Joker is very concerning to us in the Roma tradition. We are very much aware of this character. It's symbolic. We don't know who it is, who he is, she is. We don't know what it is, but the Joker is a theme in tarot as old as the cards began. It's a random card. It's not really part of the canon of the deck. It's this wild card, and it came up in my reading. It's very strong. It's an old card, and this card is really talking about the deception, the manipulation, this type of energy, the type of confusion that the Joker brings to really take away from reality and really kind of manipulate the background and the scene, and to create these shows and these different events and these different, moments, and it's really not real. It's just a Joker that's really kind of directing the show, so to speak. That's how I see it, and that's something Romans are kind of concerned. It's just a spirit, right? Something that is omnipresent in this world at this time. It probably isn't going to be there all the time, but for this year, it still is there. And I think, in a good way, after all the things that have happened, that younger generations are going to be born. This year is a year of childbirth, a lot of children to be born, and it's very important that people that have kids to protect yourself from the evil eye, because you don't want your child to be stillborn. There's a thing in the Roma tradition, you want to protect your child, protect the baby, protect the mother. She's pregnant, you have to baptize her and protect her and make sure she's happy and well treated before she's pregnant, that she has no vices, she's not doing things that are unhealthy to the baby. We want to make sure that all the babies that come into the next world, into the next generation, that they have matrimony in their life, the families are connected. So this is a good year for marriage and fertility. Now, that's the sign that has arisen to me in this month of January. I feel that it's kind of a theme for the year, but also too it's kind of temporary, because we're going from the transition of Capricorn into Taurus, and the zodiac is shifting. So things, I think, are going to be changing. I don't think that this is always going to be the structure and formula of what I see. Now, to go over what I see for me is that to return back to tradition and the Roma tradition, we learn how to make, you know, sewing projects, dolls, hats, um, tablecloths, clothing. I feel like I have a calling to that now. I want to kind of get into sewing in some form or fashion because that's something that my ancestor, the ladies, really, really want me to learn. They want me to be a good crafter in sewing, and it's something, a project that I would like to start to do in 2022. It's something that tradition, our ladies and our families used to sew and sew and sew and sew. So sewing and cooking were a big part of the culture. I have this year to represent my prosperity. The family Buddha. He was part of the Yoruba syncretism in Cuba. The Chinese came to the Caribbean. The Indians came to the Caribbean. So we have a little bit of a mix and influence from porcelain China. Our families really, really enjoyed uh, to collect the Buddha for good luck and prosperity. I have a locum. A locum is a project that I'm going to work on. This is the inner depths of the ocean, the deep sea, the representative Yemaya, the mysteries of a locum. I don't have everything to represent a locum today, but these are some of the things that I'm working with. These are the seven potencias. I like to remind myself and understand that in a 7 day week, we always have these different colors and vibrations that we understand. Um, just to go over what they are is Obatala, Yamaya, Oshun, Shango, Orula, Ogun, Elegua. Now that's just one branch or one idea. That's the African influence of things. That's the Yoruba. That's the collection of the Santos. So that's the seven African deities. This is the Roma tradition. This is the Madrid style. This is La Gitana, the El Gitano spirit, the cards, the tarot, the oracle, and the Boveda. We go back to San Lazaro Bendito. He is the patron saint on December 17th. He's very close to the lineage that we have in our family. San Lazaro is the deity of the poor. He's the miracle worker of to heal the sick. In a sense, he cures all pandemics. He cures everybody of illness, and he is really the patron of health and medicine. And so is the aspects of Osain, and Osain are the African god of fertility and life and earth. So I have more Elekis to represent these characteristics, and I also want to show that you also have the elements of Obatala. Again, it's very important to understand that this year has a theme of white and purity, and so these are the pearls, the coconut. I have navy beans and cotton balls. Eight is a number of Obatala, so I have eight of everything and eights. Everything is eight in equal parts. This is Oshunla, the feminine aspect of Obatala, the woman aspect of Obatala, the feminine rose, the white, the purity. And so this is what we call una mesa. This is like my altar space. This is where I I connect with Carmen and my madrina, my elder, and she guides me to understand and remember, most importantly, to remember the traditions that was taught to me as a little boy. I was initiated at age 7 in a regla de ocha, and I also understood how to read cards and how to predict the future. So that was my gift. I was very ceremonial and a very understanding of everything that was taught to me. So I want to go back to share that. La cascarilla, the eggshell, this is chalk. We can make different señas with la cascarilla. La cascarilla is something that we use to have symbolisms. We can make the sign of the cross, consecrate it, and make different symbols. There's all types of symbols that can be made with la cascarilla, the Sacred Heart, different letras that we learned when I was younger. I don't know everything. I don't remember everything, but it's coming to me. And then these are the things that I want to share with the world because I have a fascination with my religion, Mr. Yoruba. I haven't been practicing in over 30 years. I'm 39. I learned something very, very powerful and reached a very high level as a child in the tradition of Obatala. So this is the tradition. This is my understanding of things. Everyone has their own creativity, their own path. It's something that I think everyone can kind of share and learn from each other.